My dear friends, on this 19th Sunday in the ordinary time, if you remember that it's been 3 weeks that Jesus has been hammering to us that He is the bread of life. It's been 3 weeks that the theme of the gospel is focused on Him as the bread of life. He who eats this bread will never go hungry. He who believes in Him will never go thirsty. And that he who eats this bread will live forever, and He will raise him up on the last day. It has been consistent in 3 weeks already. Now, there is a reason for that Jesus wants us to digest and to process this theme, because the human heart has so many hunger and thirst. Jesus wants us to understand that He is the only one who can satisfy the hunger and the thirst of the human heart. That is the reason why He has been pounding this to us, so we should understand it. So today I will prove to you, I will mention things that without Jesus, the human heart could gravitate on things that are superficial and really harmless and harmful, and could destroy us, in many cases could be fatal, as we have observed almost every day in the news. People victims of these things that they think will satisfy, they think will answer all their problems, and for them these things are very important, but at the end, it's self-destruction. So it is a very serious issue that we understand this as the intention of the liturgy and of Jesus telling us that He is the bread of life. So we will go straight to these 5 things that people think can give them happiness, but they don't. 5 things that people will do anything to possess because they think they will satisfy, they think they will make them happy, but in reality they don't, because they are superficial and they are very passing, and in many cases could be deadly. They could kill you if you don't know how to handle. That is why we need Jesus to help us handle these things properly, so we will not end in self-destruction. So let's go straight to these 5 things which people think will make them happy, but they don't. Number 1, fame, popularity, being famous. With fame goes fortune. When you come out there on the spotlight, good looking, with a new talent, and people get crazy about you, and they chase you, and they buy your records, they attend your concerts, and fortune, and large gathering, glamour of fame. But fame is 15 minutes only. Okay? In the beginning, when you are new and fresh, people are crazy about you. But after some time, as you grow older, people get tired of applauding. They don't attend your concerts anymore. They don't buy your records anymore. And they don't care about you anymore. Somebody else younger coming, and that's where they're going. So what do? You get jealous, you get crazy, get arrested, and go to rehab. Fame is 15 minutes only. You see that in the headlines. Self-destruction at the end. Frustration, because these things are so passing, and people get get kind of attached to this, and they're obsessed, and that at the end it's empty. That is why we need Jesus as the bread of life to handle fame properly. It's not a bad thing. It's nice to be popular and fortunate, but you have to handle it properly. You have to know how to manage it so you will not end up in self-destruction. People that have no Jesus, have no faith, no bread of life, they end up in self-destruction, dead because of fame. See the important seriousness of this. The second thing follows from fame, honor. People want to be honored, There's a saying in Latin which says, honor est in honorante. Honor is not in you. It is in the one giving it to you. That is why you cannot seek honor because it's not in you. People honor you because they recognize you. You have done something good, you are recognized. But sometimes, in most cases, people don't recognize you. They are not thinking about you. They are busy thinking about themselves, so you are not honored. And when you are not honored, you feel bad. You are not acknowledged. That is why it is frustrating to seek honor. Because many times people don't recognize you. And so it's also empty. But when you're honored, you have to have Jesus as the bread of life to handle it properly. How to manage being honored, which is good, but you cannot really seek it and get attached to it. Third, youthful beauty. Okay, once upon a time, beauty. Well, again, beauty is very passing. It's only a couple of years that you enjoy it. It peaks around 15, 16, 17, 18, when you think you're so good looking, and you're young, and you're fresh, and you're strong, and you can do anything because you're so beautiful. Everybody had that time in their lives, when once upon a time you were good looking, with a lot of hair. Just joking. But you should understand that after 40, everything goes south. One parishioner asked, "Father, what do you mean by that?" I said, "Everybody goes to Florida, in the villages." It's so passing. I cannot understand people who spend a fortune just to look young. The body can only look young for a time. That's why there was one lady said, "Oh, you're so beautiful." And she said, "Well, the maintenance will kill you." Just to look young, there's no point. What's wrong with being old? What's wrong with that? But you cannot get attached to beauty because it's so passing. It's passing, and that's what life is all about. So we need, again, Jesus as the bread of life to teach us to understand the different stages of life, how to make the best use of the time and the blessings that we had, and at the same time, to handle and manage ourselves when things change, like age. We need Jesus as the bread of life. Another thing that people think, will satisfy them and will give them a lot of thrill, pleasure. Okay, pleasure. Let's face it, we need pleasure because pleasure is good and given to us by natural law for survival. Like when we eat. When these things are given by natural law for survival. So pleasure is good. But you should know how to enjoy it, because they can be destructive if you don't. There's a right way of enjoying pleasure, and that's understanding the operations of the senses. The senses. That's where we get satisfaction. We need that for survival. Now, but there's a point when the senses is overloaded of too much pleasure. And when it is overloaded, it loses its capacity to enjoy. It becomes numb. And it's not fun anymore. Let me give you an example. You buy the whole large pizza. Okay? That's my favorite example. The whole large pizza. Then you slice that into different huge slices, bigger than your face. Then you're so hungry, and it's been a long time that you have not eaten that pizza, and then the first slice, it's really good, right? The first one. I don't know how many slices you can eat, but the first one, when you're really hungry, and then you really enjoy it, and you really eat it fast, you gobble it fast. But the second one, I don't know how much you can eat, but it's still good, right? The second slice is still okay, still good. Now, the third one, okay, you only eat half of it. You're already full. The fourth one, you don't like it anymore. You're right? You put it back to the box and put it in the fridge for next time. The senses is already overloaded. You cannot force it anymore. It's not pleasant anymore. It's disgusting. The brain will tell you, stop. That is why seeking pleasure for the sake of pleasure is frustrating, because the sense power to enjoy is limited. So we need Jesus as the bread of life to teach us self-discipline, and not to do a lot of excesses, self-discipline, moderation. Okay? Then, another funny thing, power. Power. People are crazy about power, and they get so attached to it. Okay? Well, power is good. At a certain degree, we need a certain degree of power, because power is service, Okay, so in the beginning, you're so excited because you were elected, and people put you in the pedestal. You have a lot of command. Everybody follows you. Anything you say, you live in a mansion with so many things under your command. It's fun in the beginning, but you have to understand that power is received. It has a term. When the term is over, you have to give it back. They will take it away. It has a term. You cannot get attached to it, because it is given to you, it is received, and it should be returned. If you insist on staying, if you don't want to go, they will shoot you in the head. That's what power is. Okay? So you cannot really get attached. Some people are crazy about it, and they don't want to give it up. And they kill them. That's the funny thing about power. The last is things that people consider important, but they are not. Well, let's face it. Excessive wealth. Wealth is good, again. We need a certain degree of wealth or riches in order to afford and to procure our needs, a decent housing, food, clothing, shelter. We need. That's why we go to work, we invest, we need wealth. Okay? But obsession and excessive piling of wealth could be a problem, because you cannot bring them. And at the end, you will have to leave them to somebody. That is why in Palm Beach, there is a big mansion. It has a big poster in the living area that says, "Live first class, otherwise your heirs will." You will have to leave everything to somebody whom you do not even know. You do not know who will inherit these things, and they will spend it like crazy, and they did not even earn them. It's your wealth that you piled up that you cannot bring. I think that's the saddest part of it. You know, when you have to leave and you don't bring anything. That is why we need Jesus as the bread of life, who will teach us how to handle things like this, so we will not be miserable, and so we know what to do. Jesus, who will teach us how to handle, how to manage, how to understand the uses of these things, so that they will not hurt us at the end. These 5 things. That is why we need Jesus as the bread of life. That is the end of the homily today.